Our discussion about the most wonderful time of the year continues, along with our guest, Chris Hughes from the Season Pass Facebook group, Brad Purdue from KI Central, and alongside Ryan Sir, I'm Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast for Kings Island fans by Kings Island fans. That's who we are, and that's who we care about. All right, so let's continue. Welcome back, Brad and Chris. Uh,
Thank you.
Kings Island this year has a grand total of 7 million lights. I know, I counted them all. What were your thoughts on the
Oh,
overall atmosphere that the lighting kind of created for the event? Well, let's start with you,
Chris?
Brad. Or
personally,
Oh, Brad.
Brad.
Start with
Yeah, why
Brad.
not?
sorry. Uh, personally, I love it. I really love the atmosphere of all the lights in the park because when you don't get that, the light packages on the rides are great when you see those at nighttime in the regular season, but you never get that amount of LED lights just coming at you. And the magic of the holidays just adds to it. And so, to me, I love the atmosphere and the magic of the Winterfest lights.
Chris?
Yeah, the atmosphere was really actually awesome. I really enjoyed how each section of the park really kind of gelled with the section. So like the path from Coney Mall to Rivertown, where they have the ice Prince and Princess. You know, you've got that blue LED throughout that area, and it looks really, really good. Tinseltown looks really good as far as I Street looks great as well.
All right, Brad. Ryan, what about you?
I mean, I thought it looked fantastic. As I said, I think they really outdo themselves with the lighting and the music and everything. It's just the park is a completely different place during the Winterfest season.
All right, now they got lights everywhere. You know, you guys called out a couple different areas of the park. If you had to pick just one area, that's your favorite with the lights and the holiday decor, which area of the park is it? We're going to start with you, Ryan.
Oh, hands down, International Street. International Street from the beginning has been the kind of crown jewel. And I think that it would be hard to beat that with the effort that was put into it. The ice skating, the Eiffel Tower Christmas tree, the lighting. It's so perfect.
Brad?
I love International Street, but I gotta say, I really like the blue lights in the back and the drippy lights back there in Rivertown by Backlot Stunt Coaster on that path there. I really enjoy those lights. I'm not sure why, but I really like that area.
Yeah, I can see why you like that area. It just really captures the spirit of the season, I think, when you're walking through that part of the park. All right, and Chris,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
I'd have to say the back half of Coney Mall for Tinseltown. I love blow molds. I think those are really cool. I was actually really sad when they moved those from behind the Eiffel Tower over there, but now I'm kind of digging it. They've got the silver trees with the uplighting, looked really great. That's probably my favorite area for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we had a little bit. Everybody had a little different area of the park that they enjoyed there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised that you both didn't also say International Street. I was glad you called me first, so I didn't have to copy the other two because I'm so passionate about how good International Street looks. But I know that you guys didn't get a chance to ride these yet. But I'll start with you, Chris. So Cargo Loco and Soul Spin were added to the lineup this year. What are your thoughts on those as an addition, and do you think that they're a good fit for Winterfest?
I mean, I think adding more rides is always going to be a good thing with the popularity of Winterfest. I mean, heck, the line of folks getting in prior to them opening up the parking lot gates was all the way down Kings Island Drive. So I knew it was going to be a crazy busy night, and it really was. So adding those two additional flats for things to do, definitely a smart decision.
Yeah. What about you, Brad?
I 100% agree with Chris there, and I would hope any new install moving forward should keep Winterfest in mind of a ride that they can run in the winter, especially flats, obviously. And just adding that extra energy into that area of the park really makes it nice to have that soul spin going up, and I don't know, it just adds a little extra oomph to that area of the park, and energy that I really thought was great.
Awesome.
Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I was wondering why you paused. I forgot I hadn't spoken yet. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic. I think Cargo Loco makes perfect sense, but to me, I feel like it would be too cold for Soul Spin, but I mean, people are riding it, so I guess that's not true. But I haven't gotten to ride Soul Spin a lot. I've only ridden it twice, like ever. So I'm hoping to get some more rides in during Winterfest because that would be kind of cool to see like all the lights flip upside down while you're on the ride. So I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'd agree with what each of you have said there. Let's talk about the Winterfest experience. Um, what is there about Winterfest that provides the best joy for you? So we're going to start with you, Brad.
I would say the energy, because it's not the normal summertime energy. You're there, it's cooler out, you're not sweating, you're not running to the fountains every 5 minutes because you're thirsty. Um, and yes, you're bundled up, but there's just a coziness to Winterfest that you don't get during the summer. I would say coziness is probably my best descriptive word, because you're bundled up, you're walking around, you're coming in out of the cold, you got your hat and all you're all bundled up, cozy and warm in your coat, and you're experiencing some shows. You get warm, you go eat some food that you normally don't get during the summertime. So I would say the coziness of Winterfest.
All right, Chris.
Adding on what Brad said, I usually only visit the park with friends. So spending time with friends in the atmosphere where we're not having or not feeling like we need to run from ride to ride to ride is great. And being able to just experience the slowness and calmness per se of the park is really good.
And Ryan, your thoughts.
I would say the thing, if I had to say an individual thing that, by the way, both of your answers are very heartfelt, so I'm going to look like a jerk. But the the thing that brings me the most joy with Winterfest, honestly, is Tinker's Toy Factory. When I first started hearing rumors that Winterfest was coming back, my thought was I'll really only care if they bring that show back because I saw it in 2005, and I remember if they brought it back, it was going to be a situation where hopefully it'll be good enough. You got to understand, in 2005, you had your Lindsay Flicks, you had Josh Hobbs, a lot of people that are still in like the music industry today. Uh, so, and they've obviously moved on. That was what 20 years ago almost now. And but this you brought in this class of performers now that are just so good. I mean, you've got Tinker out there that just is so, oh, hey Santa, just it plays the part so perfectly. So it was almost kind of relieving that they did such a great job with it and really proved themselves. And then it came to like we're gonna have a new version, and they call it a Christmas Fever, but for obvious reasons they kind of dropped that idea. But still, basically the same show with that second generation. And I was like, they're gonna mess up my show. And all they did was they added some fantastic that song from Elf. I can't even begin to tell you the scream sprinkle dinkle 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 dee or whatever from Elf the musical. And they added like more complex choreography and stuff. And the show is at least as good as the previous one. And they just keep on churning out these performers that are just so perfect for the roles that I look forward to seeing that show, every year. And even if it was there year round, I would probably see it every visit.
I'm going to agree with Ryan on what I would pick out. And I go back to the original Winterfest back in 1982. And at that time, hardcore, enthusiasts wanted to just ride rides, and the shows were just kind of an afterthought. I'd watch them, when I was getting something to eat or whatever, just to take a little bit of a short break. But that's when I really came to appreciate Kings Island shows was Winterfest 1982. And the type of shows that they had, really captured the spirit of the season. Um, and the performers, a lot of them went on to perform, on Broadway and do some amazing things that they had there in the 80s. And then moving forward to today, just a tremendous amount of talent. So for me, I would pick the live shows.
Absolutely. Hey, so question for you guys. And I know the answer for now is no, but let's start with Brad. Have you
Okay.
ice skated yet? Like at all at Winterfest? Do you plan to? What are your thoughts on that?
No,
You're
no,
not
and
gonna.
no.
You're
Why not? Why not, Brad?
Anytime I've tried to ice skate in the past, it just hurts my ankles. I don't know what it is. I apparently don't know how to use the skates or something. Plus, I'd prefer not to break a bone. So, yeah, you're not going to get me out there unless they gave me one of those little, handy things that you can skate around with that the kids use.
I've seen adults use
I
them,
don't think
so I mean, you can move around with that.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm not going to be.
But don't you
doing
ever
it.
think,
I'll
like
take
in the
photos.
summer when you're there, that the opportunity was there for me in the winter to skate on that? Doesn't that ever kind of come to mind?
I'll jump into the fountain.
you heard it here first, folks.
All right, Chris, what about you? Have you ever skated Snowflake Lake?
I have not, and I probably won't. Like Brad, unless I'm on one of those little pushers. And I probably wouldn't even skate then. I would have to have somebody push me. But I do have a fracture in my foot, so doing the skates probably not the best idea.
And Ryan,
I have, and I waited until last year to do it, and I regret waiting because it was a fantastic experience. You've never seen the park from that angle. Like neither of you have been in the fountain. So I honestly like Chris. I understand your injury. I still think you're faking, but I understand your injury. Um, but Brad, you have no excuse. It's $20, includes rental. Give it a shot sometime. You can have some fun. Chris, you can have fun with your friends. Brad, you can have fun with your kids. It's just, I would recommend once in your life trying it.
yeah, it's an amazing experience. Like Ryan said, you see the park from a different view, and if you happen to have the session when the parade's going by, and that, I mean, it's amazing. Just a lot of fun. It's memorable, especially if you have family and friends with you. So let's move on to the all new Wonder Wand. It seems like that was pretty popular opening weekend. Have any of you purchased this item? We'll start with you, Ryan.
No. For you audio listeners, I have one in hand. Yeah, I purchased one on Saturday because I wanted to try it out, and it still has bubbles in it. How can you guys turn this down?
Well, because I knew nothing about it until I saw your post on KI Central.
And I knew nothing about it until people were texting me asking what these Winterfest Wonder Wand interaction points were around the park. Chris,
What about you,
Chris? How'd the news break to you?
The news broke to me by your post on KIC.
And then I saw his post, and I thought, you know what? I should write about that. And I did. So it's on my themeparksbydon.com blog. So I think we were all kind of in the same boat where we didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, and he posted videos. I took those videos, said, hey, can I use your videos and photos? And made a video. So if you go on KI Central's YouTube or the website, you can see the video footage that Ryan had taken and threw it into a little video clip so people could see exactly what it is and what it does.
Right, now, you two have not purchased it. Ryan has. Do you plan to purchase this item?
Probably
No.
not.
Really? I mean, to me, it looks like it would really enhance your enjoyment of Winterfest. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Ryan, go ahead, talk about that.
Yeah, so spoiler alert. Well, I guess if you're listening to this, you already know, but our next episode is exclusively about the Wonder Wand. So um, I thought it was really cool. It is $30, so that's expensive. You do get your season pass discount or whatever that may be for your particular tier. But it's an if they had it for years, probably not for me. But since it's something new that I wanted to check out, I don't regret buying it. I thought it was really neat. I was with a group of friends and they kind of mocked me for buying it, like because I'm buying a kid's little light up thing, that's shooting bubbles, and my friends hate bubbles, so I really enjoyed it. But anyway,
Doesn't take much to entertain Ryan, does it?
come on, this is way more than not a lot, okay? But
I've seen a lot of the little trinkets and toys you buy at these parks. It doesn't take much.
I don't have a lot of park stuff. I mean, I buy a lot of Disney stuff, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So to me, it was like trying it out for the first part of it was, I had the intention of talking about it on Tower Topics and posting about it on KIC and the season pass group and so on. But I also, anytime the park does something new, whether it's the Wonder One or the Prestige Pass or something, I'll give it a shot. So I don't regret doing it. I think it's neat. I think ultimately I'll probably give it to my nephew or whatever. But as we kind of talked about in the episode, there's a couple of different things that it does. The first one is that it has interaction spots. So, for example, if you walk up to the window at at Sally's Crafts, and you hit the target there, it starts flickering the lights and it plays like the "We Wish You the Merriest" song, like that Frank Sinatra song that ended the old Peanut
Huh.
Spectacular thing. And over at Mystic, it was everyone's favorite because the if you shoot the one there, the truck's headlights light up and it plays Jingle Bells on the horn. So that's kind of neat. But it takes the light in the globe and it matches, like, you see how it lights up. It'll actually match the design language of the area. So if you're in like I like how these bubbles are still falling. If you guys are listening to this audio, you're missing all the fun, by the way.
Ryan is having a blast.
I'm
over
gonna have
there.
bubbles around me for a whole episode sometime, but we'll do it live so
I don't know
Don
how
can get
he's still
super annoyed.
talking.
But so if you're in, for example, like the Ice Princess area, and we've been calling it that, and I can't remember if there's an official name, but the area over between Backlot Sun Coaster and the former spot of the Vortex where they got the hanging icicles, it changes the lights, like it'll just light up blue and white, and then every once in a while it'll shoot out bubbles. So the bubbles are part of the routine. In addition to that, it'll also interact with other wands. So you can shoot other wands and it'll make them like light up and start shooting bubbles, which there weren't enough people at the park to have the full experience. But I did walk by the employee that was holding one and I shot it and it started going off and it really confused them. So I had that. But the best part is it interacts with the shows too. So tree lighting ceremony, Cool Yule Christmas, and the parade all have it. So for example, the when it counts down 10, 9, it changes the color on each number, and then it goes crazy when the tree lights and it starts shooting bubbles. And then during the parade, it actually changes the color of the like the lighting language, the design language of the lighting. So if the floats are, they're pixel maps. So if they're red and white, it'll be red and white. But as soon as they change blue, it'll change to blue. It syncs up perfectly. Actually, the transponder, from what they told me, is in the Jack Frost float. So that's in the middle of the parade. So you get that effect for about 80 to 85% of the parade going by. But they give you this map that has like a list of the different things that, like, talks about all the things, but they've also got snowmen and they've got 5 of them listed, but they all say coming soon. So I don't know what that is as of the time of this recording. Maybe they'll have it for weekend 2 of Winterfest. But yeah.
Could
Yeah.
be.
So I think it's cool. So let me ask you guys this. So this is a unique opportunity. We'll start with you, Chris. What's the sentiment been on the season pass holder group about Winterfest this year?
So far it's been really busy or had a great time with my family. Can't wait to come back next time. Everybody seems to really enjoy it still. And of course, there's always the folks that are, wishing that there was more offered, which I get, but you got to be realistic.
Chris, Brad, what about KI Central?
It's been very positive over there. I've been pretty surprised, especially with Jingle Jazz and Holly Jolly Trolley and the Four Drummers drumming being removed. I was expecting a little more, hubbub about it on being downers, but it's really been positive, and people really seem to still really enjoy Winterfest. I think that magic is still there as far as going to the park in the wintertime and having the winter event. I think it's just something that's really cool to experience at Kings Island, and I'm not sure that's really going to change. I do hope that at some point they can replace some of those performers and roaming performers. That's probably the thing I miss the most about this season, is having those extra roaming performers. And you got like the Holly Jolly Trolley, you just be walking around, all of a sudden here they are. that part I really miss, and the four drummers drumming. Man, I really enjoyed that show. That was probably my most disappointing part of learning of the couple of things that weren't coming back this year, because I really enjoyed watching those guys. They were very entertaining.
Yeah, you're right about the surprise and delight with like the Holly Jolly Trolley. You never knew what was going to pop up on that. But it is
Hmm.
great to see that, whether it's the Season Pass Facebook group or KI Central, that the sentiment for this event has been pretty popular. And, as the years go by, it becomes, kind of the standard, not something that's special and new as much to a lot of guests. So it's great to see that everyone's still excited about it. But let me ask you guys, all three of you, season pass holders, how would you compare Winterfest to the other seasonal events at Kings Island? You've got, Halloween Haunt, Tricks and Treats Fall Fest, you've got Grand Carnival, and Winterfest. So how would you compare it to the others? Start with you, Ryan.
I would say that it's on a whole different shelf than the others. It's well above it. Um, I really enjoy the special events. Grand Carnival, I always look forward to. Uh, I do like Haunt, although I'm not like a huge Halloween person. But this one, it's just like nothing is really left untouched, and it's just like said, either this one or part one of this, I can't remember, but the park is a completely different place during Winterfest.
Chris?
I would have to agree with Ryan. I mean, this year I didn't get to do any of the other special events, but Winterfest is still by far, I think, the most immersive for the entire park compared to the others.
And Brad.
I would have to be third on that list of what the other guys already said. It just seems like when Cedar Fair brought this back, they really thought it out and did it right, and it shows. Haunt, at this point, seems like it's yeah, we got to do this because we know it's a moneymaker. Instead of Winterfest, it just feels like there's a lot of heart and soul put into making that a special event. That's the feeling I get.
All right, I can see that.
Okay, so let me pose a question though. So Don had mentioned that there were four shows cut this year. So it was Holly Jolly Trolley, and now you can ride the Holly Jolly Trolley for some reason. Jingle Jazz, Blitzen Band, and four drummers drumming. We'll start with you, Chris. Did you feel the cuts, or do you feel like there's still enough to do with only being a 5 or 6 hour event?
Knowing prior that those things were cut, yeah. I mean, I don't say I felt it, but I knew. Um, like Four Drummers Drumming still is an amazing show. I'm jealous that King's Dominion kept it and we didn't. But overall, I mean, there's still a lot to do. Um, there's times where I wish they would extend the hours of the event to be a little earlier in the day, especially on Saturdays and Sundays. Why not open at 3 o'clock at least to get additional folks in and have a little bit more to do?
Yeah, well,
Brad, go ahead.
Well, before you go, Brad, King's Dominion lost their parade in favor of four drummers drumming. So I think that if we had to choose, we probably got the long end of the stick. Sorry.
Yeah, you keep the parade in that situation, I think.
Yeah, go ahead, Brad. I apologize.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I really miss the spontaneity of the performers. So that aspect I miss. As far as things to do, I think there's still plenty to do because they're, like we talked about previously, there are two more rides this year with Soul Spin and Cargo Loco. So it looks like it was a little bit of give and take, but one of the magical parts of Winterfest, I always thought, was the spontaneity of shows just kind of popping up here and there around the park. That I definitely noticed and do miss.
All right. Now I'm going to start with you again, Brad, on this one. What is one thing you'd like to see added to Winterfest that maybe has not been there, since it came back in 2017?
I don't know. I wish there was another bigger coaster that could be operating. I understand that there's regulations and rules and all that to allow coasters to run, but I do think it would be cool to add another bigger coaster in on to the list of things to do. but hopefully in another install or two, we will have that option with the manufacturer recommendations.
All right, Chris.
I would have to go with merchandise. I While there is a fair amount of merchandise that's available for purchase, I feel like the park is lacking in coaster themed Winterfest merch. And I always I'm always looking for a new hoodie or a new shirt. And I think that, if you could get a Mystic Timbers branded Winterfest shirt or a Soul Spin shirt, something like that, would be a moneymaker for the park. Christmas gifts.
All right. And Ryan, go ahead.
Lasers.
Lasers. All right.
Yeah, I'm still hurt by the fact that it took us 50 years to figure out that the Eiffel Tower needed an array of lasers. I do not want to make that mistake with Winterfest. Winterfest needs lasers.
All right. And that'll bring me to my final question for the group here. All right. We talked about the parade. You've seen the past couple summers during the nighttime show that Kings Island has drones. They can do drones. I was just at Dollywood for their Christmas event. They have a drone show. So if you were given the choice, one or the other, would you like to see Winterfest have a drone show, or would you like to see the parade? So we're going to start with you on this one, Chris.
I'm going to go with drones. I feel like that drones could be seen pretty much anywhere from the park. Whereas the parade, you've got that fixed route, and then there's always a bottleneck of folks after the parade trying to get to whatever their destination is while the parade's still going. You're trying to get to your destination, so I'm going to go with the drones for sure.
Ryan.
I'm going to say parade. And the reason why I say that is because I don't know. First of all, I feel like the drones are very averse to weather, and I feel like December is kind of windy, so it would take not a lot for this big signature event to just not happen that night. And secondly, the parade, and you and I discussed this off camera, Don, but I always feel like Winterfest is super high energy with the tree lighting and for the first few hours, but then it after 7:30, 8 o'clock, it starts to just get cold and dark and damp. And the parade gives a burst of that B12 energy into the park. So I think it really because a lot of people leave after the parade, and I think that might be by design, pretty brilliant design, I might add. But it's just that last really feel good thing before you leave for Winterfest and put you in the Christmas spirit. So I'd go with parade.
All right. And you, Brad, what would you like to see if you could only pick one or the other?
I would pick the parade, and being someone who has kids, I think having that personal interaction with the characters and the parade itself keeps the kids more entertained than even the drone show. So I would say for families, the parade.
All right.
Cool. All right. So, I mean, we're kind of wrapping up, kind of the scripted section here, but I do want to kind of open the floor for, any kind of thoughts about Winterfest. I hate to put you on the spot to freestyle rap, but let's start with you, Chris. What are your thoughts on Winterfest this year? Are you going to make another visit? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so as far as making another visit, I hope to. I can't guarantee that I'm going to just based on work schedule, but I would like to. Overall, I think it's a great event, and I think even though there have been cuts, there are some really good things happening for Winterfest. The addition of the Holly Jolly Trolley ride, I don't know if I see that lasting much longer. If you were in the park over the weekend, you know that the trolley stopped working about 2 hours in, on especially Friday and Saturday night. I don't know about Sunday. So I don't know if I see that returning. And touching back on the merchandise, I had said to a friend on Friday night as we were in the Trim-a-Tree shop, I just wonder how many people actually buy those decorations and whatnot. So I kind of would like to see something different in that shop for sure.
I honestly, I've wondered that too, where like the stuff in there is really cool, but when it's a little Santa figurine and it's like $299, I understand that the market's there, but is the market at Kings Island? Like, do you go to Kings Island Winterfest and make a purchasing decision for a $299 trinket or whatever? Like,
Right.
Gingerbread house. Those gingerbread houses are like, whoo.
I think you do if you're aware that they have that store. There's awareness for it. There are those who will travel, a pretty good distance specifically to buy something that's in there because it is high-end items in there.
well, and the funny part is that, for those who like a little peek behind the curtain, and this is preaching to the choir with Don, and probably you guys too, but you have a limited time to make money, and it's a value per square foot. So if that store wasn't performing, you better believe that they would have a candy shop in there or something like that. So
Mhm.
clearly it's making revenue. It's lasted what 6 or 7 years now, so it's making something. I think an assignment I'm going to assign for both of you is one of you take a Friday and one of you take a Saturday and stand in the shop all night and write down all the transactions as they're being made, and we'll tally them at the end.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shops at the park during Winterfest though, because I really like going in and looking at everything.
Yeah, it's definitely a looking shop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome, Bray. Did you have any final thoughts?
I just really love Winterfest just because of the totally different atmosphere you get. And like I mentioned earlier, the coziness of it, even though you might be walking around kind of chilly, there's just something cool about all those lights and the tree lighting up. And taking your family there during Winterfest is just, for me, magical. And it still is, even after, it's been around now for quite a while. But I know my family really enjoys it, and I just enjoy it. I will definitely make more trips over there before the end of the season. I can't make it on closing day, unfortunately, because I got another commitment. But I mean, my first New Year's Eve that I haven't made it over there. But there's always next year. But um, it's still a really fun and relaxing time. Just even less, I'm sorry, even more than even during the regular season, because you don't have roller coasters going in the background making noise, which is usually soothing to me. That you get a calm, relaxing Kings Island without all the extra noise from coasters and rides and that sort of thing. And to me, that makes it even more relaxing, especially in the atmosphere with all the lights.
Awesome, Don. Do you have any? What are your thoughts on Winterfest from the inside standpoint? You were there when they announced that it was coming back. What are your thoughts on the
Yeah.
event?
I think it's the best thing that the park does. Of all the different events, you can have, all the rides and that during the summer. I just think it's just, really, really well done. It brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. So for me, I think it's the best thing that Kings Island does.
I agree. And the second best thing to do, the Wonder Wand. I'm going to shoot some bubbles to end the episode one more time. All right. Hey,
$30 well spent.
I
Ryan.
have had at least $32 worth of fun out of that thing.
Yeah, we really appreciate the two of you taking time to join us on Tower Topics and just,
Absolutely.
have a great holiday season. And,
You
Mm-hmm.
we'll
too.
get you back on here again soon.
Yep. And make sure you
All right,
search,
thanks for
make
having
sure you
us.
check out KICentral.com, Kings Island Central. And on Facebook, search for Kings Island Season Pass holders. It's the one with like the 60 odd thousand members that Chris runs. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.